Hey everybody, today I want to show you how to make Deniz Koyu's synth from his song Bong. I've heard it in a couple other things. Tujamo uses it in some of his tracks as well. It is on my third refill pack, which came out on Saturday. So thanks for everyone that's been supporting it and buying it. But if you haven't got it or you haven't got it yet, then I'll show you how to make this synth. So as always, start as a combinator, and then we're gonna create a 4, and make sure it's initialized patch. I'm going to use 2 oscillators, both wavetable. So for the first one, we're going to change it to mixed waves, bring the octave down to 3, and then we're going to change the position to 97. And that's all for the first one. For the second one, we're going to change to fixed sines, which is right there. So we're going to leave it at octave 4, and we're going to just take the position down slightly to 22. Then if you move over to the mixer, shift the balance to the left a bit down to 31. So there's more of this oscillator coming through. So then enable the oscillator 2 to go to filter 1 by pressing that button. And all we're going to do for the filter is turn up the frequency. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the synth. We just changed the ADSR settings. Leave the amp attack at 1.2 milliseconds. Then if you bring up the decay to about there 24.6, sustain you're gonna want at about -6, that's 6.8, and then the release we're just gonna put up a little bit to about 18. Yeah. So then it's not really sounding anything like it yet, but we'll get there. So if you right click on the synth and create a M-class equalizer and just turn on param 1, param 2, actually turn on a low cut as well, just to cut away everything below 30 Hz. So for param 1, if you bring down the frequency to around 278, turn up the gain to about 4.3, and bring the Q down a bit to 2.4. And then for the second parameter, you just turn up the frequency to about 976. Bring down the gain this time to about 5.4, and the Q up to about 8.4. So we're just kind of boosting some of this bottom mid there, and cutting away some frequencies here. And that's all for that. And then we're going to add 2 scream distortions. So for the first one, if you change the algorithm to tube, the damage you're going to bring down to 40. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, so I changed this one to tube and bring the damage control down to 40. And then for param 1, if you bring it all the way up, param 2 bring down to 22, and then just touch up the master a little bit to bring up the level, because we brought this down. For the second one, change it to digital, param 1 all the way up, and param 2 you're going to want at 112, and then this is a bit crusher, so you're going to want to bring down yeah, bring down the damage control quite a bit to 14. So that's going to make it quite quiet. So if you bring up the master all the way to 127 to bring back the volume, and then to get this sound kind of, well, sounding a bit better, there's lots of reverbs going on. So first we're going to create 2 RV7 reverbs, and then for the first one we are going to change it to gated. If you bring the size down to -30, the decay leave it 0, the damp you're going to want to leave it 40, and then you're going to bring dry wet to about 18. And for the second one, we're going to change the algorithm to low density. The size you're going to want at 29. The decay you are going to want at -38. The damp you're going to want at 20. And bring the dry wet to 22. I'm just going to do this actually. Getting close. There's a couple more things I want to put on it for. So last 2 reverbs, we're going to use 2 RV7000 reverbs for this. So for the first one, this one's quite a complicated one. If you change, actually sorry, if you click the remote programmer, change the algorithm to multi-tap, and then if you turn on the tempo sync, leave the diffusion at 50, and then what are we going to do? Change the tap delay to 3/16s, leave the level and the pan, and then if you go into tap 2, you're gonna, what are you gonna do? Actually, yeah, no, that's fine. So tap 2 should be these settings here, and then tap 3 you should have a level of about 8 decibels, and leave the pan where it is in the center. And then for the fourth one, you're going to change this to 8/16, -2 for, sorry, -2.7 for the decibel, and leave the pan where it is. Then if you go up to the top here, for the decay, bring it up to 104. 28, leave that there. Bring the high EQ down a bit to about -22. And then you're going to want to bring the dry wet down to about 23. Then if you enable the EQ by pressing that button and then click here, I'm going to cut out the lows. So about there, -15 decibels roughly, and then just bring it up to about 448. So none of the low frequencies and the reverb they're not gonna mud up the mix, the long reverb tails. And then we're gonna boost by about 6.6 decibels at around 8,000 hertz. And then, so what do we have now? Just here. Yeah, okay. And then, oh, that's why. That's there. Okay, so then the final stage is to change this EQ to an echo. Gonna want to turn tempo sync on, Now you're going to bring it down to 2/16, and you're going to put a pre-delay on, so 20 milliseconds, so the reverb doesn't kick in until 20 milliseconds after a note is played. Yeah, and then we're going to bring the decay down to 46 or 48, 46. Then leave the high frequency damp and leave that and turn this up to about 37. And we're going to turn the EQ on again. This time we're just going to cut out some of the highs. Lows, sorry. And that should be it. Just play it. There you go. So, hope you enjoyed that tutorial, guys. Keep your requests coming in. I'll see you next time.